Number 1. Can a peace officer without search warrant lawfully enter the dwelling against the will of the owner even if he know that someone in the dwelling is having unlawful possession of opium? No. The mere fact that a visitor of the house of another is suspected of having unlawful possession of opium is no excuses for entry into the house by a peace officer for the purpose of search against the will of its owner and without search warrant. Hindi ang katunayan lamang na ang bisita ay ng bahay ng isang tao ay pinaghinalaang ilegal na may dalang opium ay hindi dahilan para pumasok sa loob ng bahay ang isang alagad ng batas para magsiyasat laban sa kalooban ng may-ari nito at walang search warrant. Number 2. Suppose that the opium found after search without the previous consent of the owner of the house belonged to the said owner and the peace officer had no search warrant. Is the peace officer liable for violation of domicile? Yes, the peace officer is liable for violation of domicile. No amount of incriminating evidence, whatever its source, will supply the peace of search warrant. Oo, ang alagad ng batas ay managot para sa violation of domicile. Walang kahit anong magdilim na ebidensya anuman ang pinanggalingan nito na pumalit sa search warrant. Number 3. What does the phrase search papers, etc. without previous consent of such owner mean? When the detective secured the previous consent of the owner of the house to the search without warrant, they are not liable. Kung ang mga sekreta ay humingi ng paunang pahintulot ng may-ari ng bahay sa pag-search na walang warrant, hindi sila mananagot. When one voluntarily submit to a search or consent to have it made it upon his person or premises, he is produced from later complaining thereof. Kung ang isang tao ay voluntaryong nagpas sa ilalim ng pagsiyasat o nagpahintulot na gawin ito sa kanya o sa kanyang loob ng kanyang bahay, hindi na siya pwedeng magreklamo pagkatapos nito. The right to be secure from unreasonable search may, like every right, be waived, and such waiver may be made either expressly or impliedly. Ang karapatan ng maging ligtas sa hindi makatuwirang pagsiyasat ay pwedeng mapabayaan kagaya ng bawat karapatan at ang pagpabaya nito ay pwedeng magawa sa tahasang pagsabi or sa paggawa ng maintindihang pinagbayaan ng tao ang kanyang karapatan. Number 4. What is the meaning of search as used in this article? Two policemen were charged with violation of domicile. What they did was to enter the house of the complainant and look for the pen knife, which the later arrived. When they follow him, nobody prohibited or prevented their entrance to the said house, whose door were open, and the alleged search was limited to looking at what was in the sala and the kitchen of the house to see if the pen knife was there cannot be strictly considered as the search of papers and other effective punished by Article 128. Dalawang pulis ay dinimanda ng violation of domicile. Ang ginawa nila ay pumasok sa bahay ng nagreklamo at hinanap ang maliit na kutsilyo na dinala ng huli noong sinundan niya siya. Walang nababawal o pumigil sa kanilang pagpasok sa nabanggit na bahay na kung saan ang mga pintuan nito ay bukas at sinabing pagsisiyasat ay limitado sa pagtingin kung anong meron sa sala at kusina. Sinabi ng Korte Suprema na ang pagtitingin-tingin lang sa loob ng sala at kusina sa bahay para makita ang maliit na kutsilyo ay nandun ba ay hindi matawag na pagsisiyasat ng mga papeles at ibang mga epektos na pinaparusahan ang Article 128. But when the owner of the house had objected to the intended entrance of and search by a barrio lieutenant who entered and proceeded to search the house, inspected some jars and basket therein, found there was a violation of domicile. Pero kung ang may-ari ng bahay ay tumutol sa layunin pagpasok at pagsiyasat ng teniente del barrio na pumasok at nagpatuloy sa pagsiyasat ng bahay, humalughog ng mga banga at buslo na doon nakita, merong violation of domicile. Number 5. What does the phrase paper or other effect found therein mean? Article 128 is not applicable when a public officer search a person outside his dwelling without search warrant and such person is not legally arrested for an offense because the papers or other effect mentioned in Article 128 must be found in the dwelling. Ang Article 128 ay hindi mapairal kung ang opisyal publiko ay nagsiyasat sa isang tao labas sa kanyang tirahan na walang search warrant at ang tao na iyan ay hindi legal na hinuli dahil sa isang pagkakasala dahil sa ang mga papeles o ibang mga epektos na nabanggit sa Article 128 ay dapat makita sa loob ng pamamahay. In such case, the crime committed by the public officer is grave coercion if violation of intimidation is used. Article 286 or unjust vexation if there is no violation and there is not violation or intimidation. Article 287. Sa ganoong kaso, ang krimen na ginawa ng opisyal publiko ay grave coercion, matinding pamimilit. Kung ang dahas o pananakot ay ginamit, Article 286 or unjust vexation, hindi makatuwirang pagpapahirap kung walang dahas o pananakot, Article 287. Number 6. What is the meaning of the phrase having superstitious entered said dwelling? This is probably an instance where a public officer or employee may commit violation of domicile even if the entrance is only without the consent of its owner, that is, the offender suspiciously entered the dwelling, but is in this case what constitutes to leave the premises when required to do so, not the entrance into the dwelling. Ito na siguro ang halimbawa ng kung saan ang opisyal o publiko empleyado ay pwede makagawa ng violation of domicile kahit na ang pagpasok ay dahil lamang sa walang pahintulot ng may-ari nito. Iyon ay ang may sala sa palihim na pumasok sa pamamahay, pero sa kaso na ito, ano ang magresulta sa krimen ay ang pagtangi na may sala na umalis sa loob ng bahay kung hiniling na gawin niya iyon, hindi ang pagpapasok sa loob ng pamamahay. Number 7. What are the circumstances qualifying the offense? Circumstances qualifying the offense. Pangyayari na magpapataas ng parusa sa krimen. Number 1, if the offense is committed at night time, kung ang krimen ay ginawa sa gabi. Number 2, if any papers or effect not constituting evidence of a crime are not returned immediately after the search made by the offender. Kung alin man sa mga papeles o na mga epektos na hindi ebidensya sa krimen ay hindi isa na uli kagad pagkatapos ng pagsiyasat ay ginawa ng may sala.